No, I think it's on now.
We're on.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
on.
are we? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. And welcome to the Town of Raleigh Municipal Lighting Plant meeting of July 12th, 2017. Just a reminder, this meeting is being audio and video recorded digitally. First item on the agenda is Citizens Query, 7 p.m. to 7:10 p.m. The second item agenda is approval of meeting minutes. We have the May minutes for May 17th, 2017. Assuming everybody had a chance to review them.
Yeah. Give you a motion to accept the minutes from May 2017.
Okay. Motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor of the minutes for May 17th, 2017, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a second set of minutes for
Thank you.
June 14th, 2017. Assuming, again, somebody, you've already read it without any issues?
Give me a motion to accept the minutes for June.
Motion made.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is approval of 2017 write-offs. Is there one?
Just
for the-
one copy, yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is the accounts to be written off. Exhausted skip from DMI. Closed accounts ending plus or minus 50,000 as of 6/30/2017. And the total comes to, wow, you guys, you did pretty good on that one.
Yeah,
$545.89.
yeah, we're getting down there.
That's good. Okay, very good. You want to take a quick look at that, Bob?
Sure.
Okay. You need us to sign that too, right? Okay. So we need to make a motion.
Let me make a motion to accept the write-ups.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to accept the write-offs for 6/30/2017. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, there you go, Ken.
Thank you.
Okay. The next agenda item is employee benefits. You got anything to say, Dan? Or?
How do you want to handle this? You want kind of, the employees have something to present and I have something to present, so I'm not sure how the chairman wants to do this.
Well, we can hear what they have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you know, we gave you guys that a couple months back, I guess.
Mhm.
And obviously, we can't do the first option because of it's the way it is.
Basically state law. Yep.
Yeah, so we went with the second option. Now, I know it looks like a lot, and stick a high, but basically how we did it was, first of all, as you see the next page, over the last 10 years, the cost of healthcare has gone up 81% compared to our pay raises. The second page. So then what we did was we took all the towns around us that border us, and Reading, because all those 4 towns close to us, and within the last couple months they've all been hiring, and so we chose those 4 towns. If you look at the rate of pay, it's all pretty even. If you look to the right, and what it says, how much they pay for insurance. In Raleigh, we pay $280 a week compared to what they pay a week. Then on the last page, we broke it down. If you took 40 hours a week by the hourly rate and minus the health insurance, the average take home, it's not taxes, but in your check is $1,579. We're at $1,393.60. In order to make up that difference, we would need a $4.65 raise, which is $743 a month, or $9,000 a year difference. And that's just taking the average of those towns close to us. And as you guys know, I mean, you know us, I don't feel like we're average. We've gotten an award the last 2 years for reliability. None of those towns have. So I mean, I know that's a lot, and we know we have a good job, and we're grateful. But like I said earlier, all those towns are hiring, and I'm not saying someone's gonna quit or anything like that. But as you guys know, we all do a good job. We have a really good crew. And if one person were to leave, I mean, that would change the chemistry, that would change the dynamic of our whole crew. We get a lot of work done all the time. I feel like we work hard. I mean, that's how we came up with that number, which is even a little lower than that actual number we came up with.
Okay. Anything to add, or?
I agree with what Mark says as far as the crew and the employees. We have a great crew, and I would hate to lose anybody because of somebody going somewhere else because of a rate of pay or the health insurance. Problem we have, the health insurance is not under our control. I would disagree with one thing that Mark says, and tying the insurance to a rate of pay. is difficult only because of the way we're structured. Any increase of pay increases also the standby pay, all the overtime rates. It kind of a snowball effect if you increase the rate of pay by that much. Kind of snowballs. So if you want, we can go on to mine and I'll kind of give you my recommendation as far as what, I think we should do as far as the rate of pay and health insurance. So I also did a little comparison of different towns. I did a little different than what you guys did. I didn't bring that many copies, so if you guys want to share.
Yeah, I have a computer here. That's okay. I can use large screen.
That should cover you guys in here. Okay, what I did is I compared the number of a number of towns by the number of meters and revenue, and it gives you all the pay rates and percent increases for all those towns. Also gives you what they pay by health insurance. So Rowley is pretty close to average as far as the rates of pay for the superintendent and the line staff, but they're actually on the high scale, on the high side for the office staff, the office manager and the billing person, are on the very high end of the scale. And I do realize the health insurance plays a big part in the hourly rates, and I understand your plight as far as that goes, so I'm not downplaying that at all. I wrote down here on my recommendation, it's a starting point of 2% for the line staff and 1.5% for the office staff, but I would suggest that we do something as far as health insurance, as far as a stipend in some way or some form to help the employees deal with the cost of health insurance, and not tie it to the hourly wage because of what it does to the hourly wage.
Dan, I don't want to just,
Go ahead.
the first class lineman rate numbers you have here, I think are last year's numbers.
They're October numbers from the meeting
Okay.
survey, yeah.
Because I know that we had, the numbers that we had were the up-to-date numbers.
Yep. So, if we wanted to get to the employees, well, how do you want to just keep talking about this? You want to move on to the stipend, or how do you want to?
Well, the stipend was that addressed in the opinion that we got?
Yes, and it's allowed.
Okay. So that was-
You
that was
can
my
give an
question.
employee a stipend. You don't have to call it a certain thing. It's a stipend, basically, for whatever reason you want to give the employees a stipend for.
As in like a merit,
As in what?
like a merit?
No, not a merit, just more like a longevity where you get a set payment per year. And you don't have to tie it to health insurance, you don't tie it to anything else, it's a stipend, period. Rather than the other thing that ties it to the rate of pay. So, in order to get the employees to, let's say, a 60-40 split, where Rowley would pay 60% and they would pay 40%. I'm not saying we do it that way, but a
Right.
stipend would be about $2,696.88 for an employee who takes the family plan, and $1,440 for an employee that does the HMO single plan. That would be a yearly payment to the
How
employee.
much for the single?
The single was $1,440, and I have that right here. I did it all up, so you can take a look at all the different ways. That's all I got.
We can do that.
Yeah, good.
So, we can work from this, depending on how the commissioners feel about how you feel about a stipend for that. But I'll leave that discussion up to you as far as that goes.
Well, the stipend is a stipend, and I think Bob and I both know what a stipend is,
Oh, yeah.
because that's what we get. And we do not get insurance. So,
You joking?
but that's how it goes.
Well, I understand, health insurance. That's just the way it is for the town. It's, what is the equivalent of, can somebody give me $2,600? What percentage of that is, where they work out for pay? Percentage?
Oh, it's, comes out to, I think it's like 19 cents an hour.
19 cents an hour?
I believe so. I can do it out real quick. So. Let's see here. Okay, so. That's not coming out right. I had it done, I think it was like 19 cents per hour.
19 cents.
I believe so.
And that's, what would 19 cents an hour be?
For like a first class lineman, it'd be like
Less than-
.02
Yeah.
or something like that, or .03.
0.03?
Well, I mean, I'm just spitting up. I didn't do it. I'm just.
Right.
It's low.
Well, that's, I would like to see what it is.
As far as a percentage increase?
Yeah, well, percentage increase.
Okay. I didn't do it that way, but, so it's what, 41?
What's it?
0.004.
0.004?
Mm-hmm. Less than a percent.
Less than 0.5%.
Okay. So Dan, you recommend 2%?
For a salary increase, yes.
Salary increase. Okay.
And that would probably bring us pretty close to what the other towns are. Okay.
Yeah, I see 2.25% raise. That would do them, well, that would, as a lineman,
94 cents.
94 cents? I 2.2, I say 2.5.
You want to go 2.5%?
I'm sorry, 2.2, 2.25%.
2.25%.
Cost of stipend, or is that taking place?
2.25% across the board without the stipend
For all employees.
for all employees.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that. So,
Kenny? Kenny, do you have an opinion? 2.25%?
say inflation is? The
What are
first
we
6
looking for here,
months?
too?
2.2.
That puts them in line?
Well, not really. It doesn't even cover inflation for this year, and we asked for 350 and it's 94 cents.
And inflation for the first 6 months is already at 2.4 for the first 6 months of this year alone.
I think 2.5 in the stipend is what?
Mark's gonna call.
Oh,
What's that? They're gonna be calling you.
There you go.
Did you hear that?
call me if you gotta.
That doesn't do anything for the insurance, right? 2.25. Does that help much for the,
No.
you know? Because I'm still looking at this, it's unreal.
That's why we tried to tie the hourly rate in. I understand what Dan's saying, as far as the overtime and everything. Or when you think about, we're working the same job as a lineman in Groveland. And at the end of the month, after taxes, they're getting $500 more in their paycheck to do the exact same job.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
I mean,
And it's not like it's the big cities. I think we found that Groveland actually is the best one.
yeah, we felt that, they are especially a good comparison because they're similar in size to us. I mean, Reading's gonna skew the numbers because, they obviously they cover 2.5 towns or whatever it is. And,
Yeah.
A lot more commercial business, so there's a lot more revenue there, but I mean,
We're twice the size of Groveland.
Groveland's smaller than
Yeah.
us.
Well,
Especially
I
on the
know
commercial
what you
side.
What's Reading is Middleton also?
No.
No.
Middleton's
Linfield,
different.
Linfield.
Yeah,
Linfield.
Linfield.
Yeah, section of Peabody also.
And insurance is a killer.
So like we said, with our numbers, 465 would bring us up to that average. And we're asking for $1.15 less than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how the numbers work once you factor in on-call pay and overtime and stuff, but I mean, we're not asking for that 465, which obviously, like you said, with all the snowball effect is going to affect it.
Yeah.
You know,
250 still.
Oh, no, I definitely understand what you're saying, and, I think we agree on the fact that, with the stipend, to me, would be the best way to go, proceed, but I'm not the decision maker here, the board is, so.
I mean, I think it's, all of us would think that it's fair at the 2.5 to cover for the cost of living and a slight increase in pay, and then I think we're okay with that, but then it's the stipend, I think, is what, we would really want, the 2.5 plus the stipend. I think is fair, and it's still below, it puts us below average. And like you said, I don't think we're below average employees.
No, I would agree with that.
So what are you talking for a stipend? How much money are you talking there?
2,696.88, so 2,696 and 88 cents for an employee who takes the HMO family plan. and that's once a year, and a stipend of $1,004.40 for an employee who takes the HMO single. And just so you know, there are 6 employees who take the family and 1 employee takes the single. There's only 1 employee that's not on the plan.
Going back to the, the numbers, the towns that we picked, like Mark said, they're either all currently hiring or have hired recently. And like you said, nobody's threatening to leave or thinking about leaving or anything like that. But going forward in the future, somebody does leave, somebody retires, there's, the need to replace somebody.
Why would they want to choose
we're not an attractive option compared to those other 4 towns or 5 towns, whatever we have listed on here. Like, they're going to be the first choice amongst anybody that's looking at, anybody that's worth a damn at Lime or jumping ship and going someplace else. They're not going to look to Raleigh.
Yep.
Maybe you're bringing home less money to come around. You're paying way more in insurance. And, the town's obviously unwilling or unable to budge on the insurance percentage or changing the plan to a more affordable option. And, it's not going to entice
No, it's
the best of the best to come here.
no, it's becoming a major problem for the town, for every department in town, including us. I'm not the one to say how to fix it, but I would hate to lose employees over it.
All right, guys, I'm saying 2 and 2.25.
And everybody is on family plan, aren't they?
6 out of 7 are on the family plan, yeah. It would be a cost of $16,181.28 to the department every year to give them a stipend.
That gets you the 40%, right?
It gets you a 60-40 split. As long as my math is right.
And it'll be taxed, right? What is healthcare not taxed? So and it's taxed. I think as employees, 2.5 plus the stipend would be very fair, and we'd be willing to accept that.
I'm not sure how the stipends is gonna work
Yeah,
out.
I
don't know what the percentage difference would be.
I'm not prepared to look at a stipend right now. I haven't, looked across the spectrum to try to evaluate it.
I think the part that Dan put together tries to bring the towns that they've listed here into line, or bring us into line.
Dan, what did you say it was?
Those towns.
2 point, I mean, not 0.008 was the stipend,
004.
004.
As a percentage.
So, if you, 2.5 plus the stipend is like 2.54 is really all we're asking for. But we would like to have it as the stipend, not.
So that would work out to
0.04.
would work out to 2.54%.
No, sorry, it's 2.504.
2.5504.
2.504.
Yeah, so, sorry about that. But Dan just suggested it in another way, and I think we like that way. I don't know how the other people feel. Is anything else, Eric? Have you heard anything? From that? No. Maybe it was nothing.
Okay, the thing that separates us here, I'm 2.25. Okay, and we're talking 2.5 or 2.54, so we're off by 2.9%, is it?
Well, the other one was 2.504, sorry. So less than. I agree. Yeah, because it's still only less than, that's, and we asked for $3.50 and that would get us that 94 cents. Yeah.
You're in quarter percent difference, 0.254. 0.254. That's the difference between the 2.504 and the 2.25.
Insurance was 0.43, something increase this year.
So roughly between, I haven't heard a proposal from you guys.
Oh, I think I could go with the 2.5.
Okay.
We've done that in the past,
Mm-hmm.
so. Be relatively comfortable with that. But, I'm not too keen on the stipends.
No, I'm not
at this
keen on
point.
stipend at all. You know, I'd rather see it in a percentage.
I'd like a little more information and what the how it might work. So we don't run into a,
How about 3.5 across the board? No stipend.
I could go 3.
Sorry, I was checking some math. Well, 3.5 gets us to $1.46. Like you said, when we started at 3.50. Which was, we already started below average.
I'm willing to go 2.5, okay? And that's the highest I'm gonna go. I'm willing to go 2.5, and that's only because of the dangers of the job as a lineman. And also I want to retain employees.
We gave you the numbers of what, they're bringing home in the other towns, so, I mean, that's still not even, we weren't even looking to get up to the average, I mean, it still doesn't even put us in the ballpark.
I mean, I think we're willing for 3.5, just so because we enjoy working here and want to stay here. I mean, we'll settle for 3.5 just to stay. I mean, it's enjoyable working here. It's enjoyable working for Dan and Mark, both Marks. I mean, like Dan said, he doesn't want us to come through his door in the next few weeks and say, "Hey, Dan, I'm sorry, but here's my resignation. It's unfortunate. I love everything about it. I just got to go to a different town because of the price of insurance." Nothing bad to ever say. It's just the way it is. And I don't think Dan wants to hear that either.
I mean, I still think we're settling for 3.5.
We know the town inside and out. I mean, we all almost have 10 years of service at the least amount.
I understand, well, health insurance also, but the town is locked in to the 52.5, 40.
7.5.
And we understand that too. But we're just trying to do what's best, and we hope you guys are trying to do what's best for the Raleigh Light Department, the light department itself, because that's who we all represent.
We understand that your hands are tied as far as the percentage goes, and that's, that was made clear that, that is state law, that can't be changed. But, we're doing our best to, come up with ways to make it
so no one does want to leave.
We think 3.5 would be more than fair. I think it's a fair compromise between both sides.
I think you gentlemen know that last year I held at 2.25. Okay, I'm willing to go to 2.5. And it's only because of the dangers of the job. And also against, I want to retain people. So that's gonna be my position as a commissioner. And I haven't had enough time to sit and to mill over a stipend. So I'm gonna stick with the percentage.
At 2.5, right? That's what you said.
I'm saying 2.5.
Yeah, looking at the average on the various towns here, we're certainly not anywhere near the top, but we're not on the bottom either.
Also, last year, the cost of living wasn't as high as it is gonna be this year.
And 2 years in a row with 99.9% reliability.
We feel that we're being fair, and not asking too much.
Ken, what's your ideas?
2.5 doesn't do anything for the insurance, does it? Doesn't give me, doesn't give me anything for insurance?
It's also bringing in line what everybody else makes, so we're settling for 3.5. Without,
What are your thoughts, Paul?
Well, I mean, we're kind of looking at these numbers here, and last year, we averaged out at, trying to find the line again, 2.75%.
I think, Bob, we'd be willing to stick with that 2.5, but you'd have to keep the stipend that Dan came up with.
And the stipend is worth, what was it?
26
96.
A year,
For a family.
for family.
$2,696,
Which is the equivalent of what in a day raise?
19 cents an hour.
19 cents, which is, works out to
0.004%.
0.004, which is slightly above 2.5, or we're at 2.5, so it would be 2.5004?
2.504.
04.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'd like it as the stipend.
I'm not comfortable right now with the stipend, because I haven't studied the stipend, and I haven't even thought about coming in here.
So, can I make a suggestion then for everyone then? Can we just talk a percentage with an understanding that we'll look at a stipend at a later date?
We'll do that.
And just so, and do some more background on it, get some maybe opinions on it, and discuss it further. Would that be acceptable to you as a group? I know it's difficult because we're not offering it right now, but
What would there any, when you say a later date, if it was within this year, how would the stipend work? Would we have gotten a retro pay on July 1st? Is it like we'd get one check at the beginning of the fiscal year?
then it would be probably, because we work on a calendar year, so it would probably be a calendar year, so it wouldn't matter if it was now or if it was in November, you'd still get the same amount for the year.
Okay. But that's what I don't want to miss a year, so then we don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
I think the commissioners would, I don't want to speak for you, but if we decided to do a stipend that would be in effect before December 31st of this year, a check, and then the following year would be a different,
You're
another
talking about the
stipend.
percentage, Dan?
But the stipend itself.
We just don't want to push off the stipend and then we agree on it, but then it doesn't kick in till next year.
I'm not comfortable talking about a stipend right now, okay?
Well,
Maybe future, look at it, but I was not prepared to come in here and talk about a
Okay.
stipend.
No, I realize that I kind of sprung that on you last minute, but
Yeah, I don't think, me
So
personally,
if we're at 2.5, I'm suggesting 2.5, okay, I haven't heard from my other commissioners. I'm willing to go 0.4, okay? So
I can buy that one.
2.5, 2.504. Okay, I'm willing to go that, and that's it. So what are the commit, am I on the,
Well, I could go with that, Bob. Yeah, and I could go with the stipends after we take a good look at it. I just don't want to run into a stone wall somewhere down the line.
I don't think we'd be willing to take
again, I don't wanna, at this particular point, I have not studied the stipend, I don't know how it would be formulated, I haven't even thought about it, so coming in here, for me to even, to contemplate, it's something out in the future to look at. But right now, that's what, as one commissioner here, okay, I'm willing to go, and it's because retention, also, the dangers of the job, so 2.504.
I think, just for everyone's sake, I mean, I know, Bob, this isn't the time and place to try to crunch the numbers and all that. I mean, why don't we, in the stipend, I mean, Dan did a lot of research. He had that good idea of the stipend. I think we're on board to talking about the stipend. It sounds like you want to mull it over. I don't know how much time you're looking for. I mean, maybe we should just table with, Mark has a lot of good insight. With not everyone here, maybe we should just table it until next month.
I think it wouldn't be in our best interest to take, like Dan said, to take a percentage now because we'd be agreeing on a lower percentage, then we would, you know, and wait and find out about the stipend. Like, you clearly don't sound like you're on board with the stipend. So if we were to take a lower percentage than we really want now, just to find out at a later date that you're still not on board with the stipend, I feel like we're not doing ourselves any favor by that. I think it should all either be ironed out and agreed to tonight or at a later date.
I mean, if you do 3.5% this year, and then it gives you a whole year to think about a stipend next year.
And I'm looking at this, you know, I saw you suggested 2% and 1.5% for the office staff. And I didn't want to leave anybody behind, so I wanted to put across the board to everybody, you know, office people and for those out in the field. Because I don't want a morale factor, okay? That's the way I was looking at it, so. Well, it's up to you, gentlemen.
But I believe that was, Dan was suggesting the 2% and the 1.5% with the stipend.
Yeah, Dan was.
Is that
suggesting that
correct, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not just,
Yeah, but if the office gets a lesser percent,
I'm just clarifying,
like Dan said.
yes.
I mean, we don't have a problem coming back.
Well,
I mean, really, and if we just want you to be honest, Bob, and if you come back after a month and you say, you know what, I've looked into it and I do want nothing to do with the stipend, then I just don't want you to make a decision now that you don't feel comfortable with or whatever it is. And if you can come back and tell us that you don't want the stipend, then we can live with it, you know?
I mean, what I see here from what Dan had done is, and basically his recommendation to the department would be a 2% raise to keep them in line with the other towns. So it doesn't look like we're going over the hill here,
The only thing, if I may,
but we would be in line.
the only thing with Dan's sheet is that those are last year's numbers for the first class linemen. So if you look at our sheet, we have the first class lineman rates. Like I believe Georgetown says like 40-20. I think they're up over 41 now or so. I don't know actually. It's not on our sheet. And it's not, I mean, those numbers were just gotten off of the was it the 16 or 17?
16.
Yeah, so Georgetown's now at 41.21. Ipswich is at 41.60. Groveland's up at 41.40. Groveland before was 40.19, so they're up over $1 more. So that's why we were asking for the, what we asked for in the first place, but that's why we were willing to settle for 2.5 plus the stipend. These are the most recent for the surrounding towns.
you want to continue or you want to table it?
Fine. If they're willing to.
Hmm?
If they're willing to, I'd like to look at the stipends thing a little bit closer.
Like I said,
I'll make a motion to table this until next meeting.
If they're willing to accept it. I
Huh?
mean, it's up to them if they're willing to accept it.
like I said, we'll be willing to settle for 2.5 and the stipend that Dan has right now. If you guys don't want that, if at least two of you can't decide on it, you know, then I mean, we'll definitely just have to table it. But
So,
all we're asking for, Dan had the idea of the 2 and the stipend, and
Mhm.
we're just asking for 2.5 in the stipend. We just think that's a little more fair.
are you willing to table it till the next meeting?
Well, yeah, we'll make a decision to table it. So, you want to look at the stipend?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I want to make sure that we don't get into any issues with it.
Okay. All right. I'll make a
The
motion.
stipend's not the way we're going. We're
Make a
looking
motion
for
to table.
Yeah.
And look at all the scenarios that we have here.
But just to clarify as well, if the stipend's not on the table, then we're gonna be looking for more, obviously, than just 2.5. But like I said, we're willing to settle for 2.5 and the stipend right now.
And it's still way below what we came in here asking for. It's not.
I mean, I would be willing to accept the 2.5 tonight.
Again, I would go for 2.504. To go a little extra for that, to bring that in. And that would be my,
And I would be willing to go along with that.
May I ask what the, only because, I mean, Dan looked into it. He contacted the lawyer. He found all the information. He said this is not a problem. I mean, I don't know what other.
I'm not prepared to, about the stipend.
Okay, I'm just, because I'm just saying he looked into it.
This was sprung on me as I walked in. I am not comfortable with it. I have not had time to sit and mull it over. And I'm trying to talk to my commissioners, my fellow commissioners here, and I started off with 2.25, okay, and I went the other 0.25%, plus I added the 0.4 for that 19 cents we talked about, and that's as far as I'm gonna go. And again, I mentioned about retention, and I mentioned also about, you know, the dangers of the job. Anybody who's worked a loft understands, you know, the dangers of working a loft. You 18 to 30 feet up, you're in danger of all kinds of hazards. You know, and I'm fully aware, I worked 10 years in that zone, I understand it.
So I'd be willing to go along with that. The 2.504.
04.
And I'd be willing to vote that tonight.
Kenny, how do you feel?
You have to go along.
I don't think we're ready to say yes to that though. You know, unless we know the stipend is there, or else we're gonna ask for, like I said, we'll even still settling on 3.5 with no stipend is a settle. So I mean, we just don't feel comfortable without knowing the answer. That's all.
Well,
Which is fine if we want to table it.
I understand that. Now you know how we feel.
Yeah.
We just don't feel comfortable with it either. And I'd be willing to kind of set it on the side and investigate it and come back and work on it again and hopefully pass it at that point.
I hear you. It's just hard for us to sit here again. You know, unless, like I said, the numbers are different. So we would want, if we weren't going to get the stipend, we obviously want more. And if for whatever reason, I know Bob has reservations about it. I mean, if we have the same if we take the 2.5 and then have the same conversation next month, and still no one's comfortable with it, then we just settle for 2.5 with no stipend. That's our concern.
Well, I guess we're at a stalemate.
Like I had said, I know that Bob's not comfortable with it, but just the fact that, Dan, the manager came up with the idea, and he obviously went through all the proper channels. So it's not like he's done everything that needed to be done. So I just feel like it's either, if Bob's a no, that's fine. It's either a yes or a no, for the stipend. It's not like we're doing anything we're not supposed to be doing. Or else Dan wouldn't have suggested it.
I'm willing to go to 2.504 tonight.
With investigating the stipend for next month's meeting. And then if it doesn't fall through, then we ask for a higher percentage.
If that's the case, then if the majority doesn't want to go for the stipend, then we can just discuss it next month. We can discuss either a higher percentage rate. If you guys come back next meeting right off the bat and just let us know right away. No, we're not doing the stipend. And then we can start negotiation with a percentage or a dollar amount as we originally started out with. But if there's going to be no stipend, I feel like we're just going to have to start next month, and it'll be like this meeting starting all over again. The 2.5. Kenny, you said it. You talked about the healthcare. The 2.5 covers the cost of living and gets us with everybody else, and then the healthcare, still gets us to the stipend gets us to below average still.
Yeah.
After 2.5%, for settling for 2.5% and the stipend, we're still below average. But we're willing to take that.
Taking the 60-40 split in the insurance is still
Below average.
Dan has the average at 69%, so it's still well below. We're not trying to put out numbers that everybody else is gonna try to keep up with us. We're just trying to keep pace.
And we're in the lead for reliability, yet we're keeping pace for the averages.
Commissioners are going to make the decision here, correct, gentlemen?
That's the way I see it.
Hmm?
That's the way I see it.
And we've heard your suggestions, okay? We're not a bargaining unit, correct?
No.
This is not a union negotiation.
Nope.
Okay, you've come in to ask, before us. I understand that, I respect that. Okay. But as the commission, as I understand it, will make the decision.
Yes. Yep.
And
Or it can be up to the manager.
Listen to the, I listen to the suggestion of the manager, and I put my suggestion out there before my fellow commissioners, so.
I mean, I just would say that we've been non-union, and Bob knows it's been fine. Everything's good. We enjoy this, the discussions we have.
Well, we
We would,
understand that.
and we would never want it to go another way.
I understand that. And
But we
again,
wouldn't. But we wouldn't
and I
want our
think-
hand to get
I
forced.
think you heard me from my position.
Mhm.
I heard Dan's suggestion about between office help and between out in the field, okay? And I wanted to have it across the board, okay? Everybody treated the same. So I don't think I'm being unfair, okay?
We also heard Bob Mary said that he would save 3 earlier.
So that's where I am at, okay, as a commissioner. 2.504, okay?
Yep.
And that's what I'll be next month, 2.504.
Last year was 2.75.
And we're willing for 2.5 in the stipend, which still gets us below last year. But we're willing to sell for 2.5 in the stipend. Like I said, if not, and that's still below average.
And again, it won't be, the decision will be made here with the commissioners, correct, gentlemen?
Unless Dan wants to make it.
Dan?
Well, we've said a lot.
What's your gut feeling, Bob?
Well, I still think I'm not comfortable with the stipend at this point.
Okay.
It's not that I don't want to do it, it's just I would like a little more information.
Mm-hmm. Do you wish to table it? And study the stipend?
I would like to look into it, yes.
Would you like me to make a motion to come back to this next month?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I'll make that motion that we
gotta
study
get-
a stipend.
Get
and
something done
we
here
have
tonight.
And we have not made any decision on percentages,
Right,
okay?
okay.
So everything we discussed, that's all we're gonna discuss is the stipend, okay? Dan, you can look into that? Okay, that's my motion.
For the
Can I ask a
motion.
question?
Yep.
Did you just say you're not gonna discuss the percentage next month either?
No, what percentages were discussed tonight are not all that is off the table,
Oh,
okay?
I
So in other words, we'll go back and we'll start again with percentages, okay? So my motion is to look at the stipend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got a second?
if nobody, yeah,
Second.
yep.
Okay.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Oh, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
So where do we go from here, Dan?
Where would you like to go? It depends if you'd like to table the following item as well. It's up to you.
We can do that if you want us to. I mean, I would,
I'm not the, you know, you
No.
guys. you-
yes, I understand. Okay,
You wanna take it up next month?
yeah. You don't have any problem if we just address it at
Okay.
the next meeting? Okay.
I'll make a motion to table the next item on managed benefits and negotiation.
Okay, motion made. Is there a
So we-
second?
what's the motion?
That's to table the, agenda number 5,
Oh,
managed benefits and negotiations.
mm,
So we'll take it up next month. And we will meet. And second,
Looks like the 9th.
oh, wait, hold it. The 9th?
Yep,
Okay,
August 9th.
all right. Give me a motion to adjourn?
You didn't finish that motion for the
I haven't got a second yet.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought-
oh, second.
Thank you.
Yeah, who's
Made and
that?
seconded. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sorry, Bob, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no, that's, I was just kind of.
I'll give you a motion to adjourn.
If you want to do that, we can accept that one too. You understand it takes priority.
Can,
Second, Ken?
can we get together without these guys and go over this stipend thing?
We'll have to have.
Not unless it
Not-
it
we
would have
have
to
to have a
be a
You
meeting,
know.
No,
a posted meeting.
I have to post a meeting.
We can't just sit here
How
and
many
chat about
questions
it.
have we got on it?
So, Ken, you second to adjourn?
Yeah,
Okay. Bob, get a second.
yeah, you already,
Motion to adjourn has been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.